Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I'm actually interested in this PC on eBay. It's a Lenovo ThinkCentre M720. All right, I'm just asking to know if it will be possible to actually um, buy this PC without an OS. And if that is a possibility, I would also want to ask if a €10 reduction in price will be something that you can actually do.
Yes, it's actually possible. If I may ask, what size of RAM would you want to have in this case? And would you also want me to include an SSD?
Yes, exactly. I would want the PC with a 16 gigabyte of RAM as well as a 512 gigabyte of SSD.
Yeah, that's going to be possible. Yes, so you want a 512 gigabyte of SSD and 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, but you do not want me to install Windows on the PC. Yes, it's going to be possible. See, let's do so. I'm going to go ahead, edit the listing.
Great.
And I would just send you an email when I am done. In this case, you can actually, buy this PC for 314 euros like we...
Great.
All right, thank you so much. I'll do that in the next 2-3 minutes and I will let you know
All right,
per email. All right?
Expecting your email then.
Thank you so much. Bye. You see, this is a buyer, reaching out to me, wants to know if this PC right here could actually, be sold without an operating system on it, which is actually very possible. And in any case, he wants me to still include the SSD, which is 512 gigabytes of NVMe SSD, and also wants 16 gigabytes of RAM, and is equally asking if there's anything I can actually do with the price. He proposed that he could pay 314 euros, which I feel is okay for this transaction. So all I have to do is to go ahead and edit this price and send him an email so that he can actually go ahead and buy it. I'm hoping that he's a serious buyer, but the way he sounded on phone, he actually looked like a serious buyer. Hopefully, he's going to really go ahead and buy this PC. And this PC right here, a Lenovo ThinkCentre M720T, is going to be sold. I mean, hopefully, it's going to be sold. We have a notification that's not so interesting. I'm just going to put on my laptop. I did see the notification on my phone and I felt like this is something I need to check, on the PC. All right. Apparently, a buyer is trying to return, a PC, and the buyer actually indicated that a PC, with a wrong processor was sent over. So the first thing I want to do is to be sure, what the buyer actually did buy. I'm just going to pull up the transaction so that I can actually, take a look. All right. All right. So now the buyer says, article not as described. This is already a red flag. Says article not as described. I wanted to buy a PC with a Core i7 processor, but it's a Core i5. I am sure I selected everything correctly. So what I have to do in this case is just to go to my sold listings and actually see what the buyer, really did buy. So I'm going to take the buyer's name and just search for the transaction and just try to see exactly what the buyer bought. You see, this PC was a PC that was sold for 300 euros, and this buyer did buy, a PC with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, Core i5 8500 processor, and 512 gigabytes of SSD. See, like you can see here, it's absolutely not possible for the buyer to have made a mistake, in selecting the processor that he wants, because if you want to buy this PC, you have to come here and select whatever processor you want. So the buyer obviously did select a Core i5 8500 processor PC and bought it, but now the reason for return is saying that the item is not as described, and he is very sure that he did select a Core i7 processor, but I erroneously sent to him a Core i5 processor. This is a clear case of a buyer, just wanting to return the PC, but not wanting to be fair in the reason for returning the PC. This buyer obviously made a mistake. It could either be that it's a genuine mistake, all right? We all make mistakes. Come on, we are humans. It could be that the buyer wanted a Core i7 PC, but actually did select a Core i5 PC. But now he's trying to push the blame on the seller and had, selected that the item is not as described. And eBay is now going to think that the buyer in this case is actually right. Of course, this is one of the things that we see. This is a clear case of a buyer, just trying to lie about the transaction. I had the transaction here, and it tells me exactly what the buyer had bought. The item was in good condition. It was sent over, but the buyer is returning this item now. It's not a problem that people want to return my items, but when you try to destroy a seller's account, because the more people, writing that the items they received is not in the same condition as that which was described, then the seller actually has, these negative ratings from eBay, and the more negative ratings you get, you stand a chance to fall below average in your seller ratings, and that will go a long way to affecting your sales activities on eBay. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be crying about this. Automatically, the buyer now has received, the return label. I just hope that the piece is going to be sent back to me in the same condition in which the buyer had received it. It was a very, very good PC. There was absolutely, no signs of use. It was pretty much new. I will go ahead to write eBay about this and say that, look, eBay, this reason for return is not correct. I hope eBay is going to, take that into consideration so that in this particular transaction, I do not have to receive a defect. You see, flipping PCs online, it doesn't matter if it's on eBay, on Amazon, on whatever platform you tend to sell, it's already a difficult activity. And when buyers like this come to your shop, buy items with the aim of returning the item, this even makes the job, more difficult for us. Of course, we are prepared for these kind of situations. We understand that not all transactions will actually go as intended. There's definitely going to be that one person, that's going to buy items and return it. But my humble plea is that, look, when you go online to shop for items, it could be PCs, it could be laptops, even it could be clothing, it could be books. Please do your due diligence as to ensure that before you click on the buy it now button, you have checked through to be sure that the item you are buying is exactly what you need, because situations like this is not like it's the end of the world, but if care is not taken, we continue to receive transactions like this where people buy the item and want to return it because they were not just patient enough to check to be sure that the item they are buying is exactly what they really do need. The seller in this case is just going to continue to make losses. Yes, 10 euro here, 20 euro there. You might be thinking now it's not a big deal, but if a seller receives like 10, 15 of these kind of transactions in a month, that can actually go a long way to affect, his or her bottom line. It's my humble plea to you guys as buyers. Please do your due diligence before you come online to buy things. PC flipping is already difficult enough. Hold your side of the bargain and do not make this, more difficult as it naturally ought to be. That's a sign of good news. It's very possible that this Lenovo ThinkCentre M720T has been sold. I just have to take a look. Yes, this Lenovo ThinkCentre M720T has been sold. This was a decent transaction. The buyer also is a very decent person because he didn't start out with trying to reduce the price, of this PC to the bare minimum. He just asked for 10 euros, which was something I could easily go ahead and do. And the buyer went ahead, bought this decent PC. This is one of the best PCs I will be sending out this month. The PC is absolutely clean. It literally still has the original box, all the accessories, and I even have an original Lenovo, keyboard. I'm going to be throwing it in. I do not care because as PC flippers, we have to be seen making sure that the buyers are absolutely satisfied. Not going to be discouraged now by, buyers that tend to buy our PC and want to return it for no reason, or even want to try to lie about the fact that the items were not as described. We are going to do what we have to do. So this keyboard, I'm going to be throwing it in. All the user manuals, I'm going to be throwing it in. And hopefully, this buyer receives this PC, I am definitely going to be getting a positive, reviews for this. Like I said, this is one of the best PCs I'm going to be shipping out. No sign of use on this PC. This PC can literally pass out for new. And I hope that when this PC will be sent, the transport company, in this case DHL, is not going to do a bad job as to destroy this PC during transportation. It's going to be an easy PC to set up because I do not have to install anything. All I need to do is just to make sure that the PC is in good working condition, which it obviously is. So I still have to go ahead and switch it on one last time just to be sure that at the point of me sending out the PC, there is absolutely no issues. And I want to imagine that the buyer of this PC knows what to do. Perhaps he doesn't want to use Windows. I imagine that when people buy these PCs and are saying, please, I do not want you to install it, it could either be one of two things. The person just want to go, with Linux, which is a different operating system altogether, or the person wants to be sure that he has actually done the installations from the scratch, just to be sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. But either way, it makes things pretty much easy for me. I do not have to do anything. I'm just going to go ahead now and throw this piece into the box and make sure it's still sent out today. It sold really quick. All this goes a long way to prove a point which I've always had, which is if you are opportune to know exactly what is selling right now on eBay, which thankfully eBay has been so generous to give us this data on their sold listings, or if you go to the research session within your seller cockpit, eBay has pretty much told you exactly the items that people are actually buying right now. So if you go ahead and look for this item and list it on the platform, it is going to sell. This is exactly true, because this PC right here, just last week I was just taking a look at the sold listings on eBay, and I saw that this small PC here was killing it. People were selling it. I actually went ahead to look for it, but unfortunately I was only able to get 3 pieces. Even then I listed it, and this one right here has sold. Beautiful PC, decent transaction. This is exactly what you should be doing. This is actually going to be cleaned off. If you take a look, you can still see just a little bit of the remains of the labels, but this is not a problem to clean off. To tell you that this PC is still looking in the best condition. Look, this tape is still very much right here. I'm just going to peel it off so that you can actually, take a look at it. See, that is the original tape, covering the Lenovo label of this PC. This is decent, and I really want to think that this buyer is going to be super happy, to receive something like this. Even right here, you still can see the remains of the label. I'm not going to peel that. I'm just going to leave that so that the buyer is going to actually see that this PC, is coming from a good hand, responsible hand that knows what quality is about. And this is exactly what you should be aiming for if you want to flip PCs, for profit. All right, with the look of things, this PC is ready to go. This is finished. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that this actually starts to go on its journey, because today is Friday, and if this doesn't go today, then the buyer doesn't have the chance of receiving it on Monday. Hopefully, if I send it today, this PC still can be delivered tomorrow, which is exactly, the kind of experience I want my buyers, to receive. This PC is a wonderful PC, looking in the best condition. I don't have to do any more cleaning because it's already looking very clean the way it looks. So all I have to do now is just to push it up into the bubble wraps and then push it into the carton. And this PC is pretty much good to go. I've taken the Lenovo ThinkCentre Tower PC as well as the mini PC to the post office. I was still able to meet the DHL driver in good time, and hopefully, the way it looks, the buyers are supposed to receive these items tomorrow. That will be very interesting. It's Friday. There's pretty much nothing I want to do now. I am right here at my wife's place of work. She actually did invite me for their, they're having a Frühlingsfest, kind of a festival that happens at the beginning of summer in Germany. And my wife said, if you have time, please come around. It would be great to have you around. The kids are there also. So I felt like since I already finished today, there's pretty much nothing I can do now. I'm just going to go there, show up, try to, have some quality time with the kids, just goof around. Sometimes it's what it is. You also have to find time, to, wind down. It's not all going to be, hustle, flipping pieces for profit. I know this is something I would like to do, and I'm always waiting for the next transactions, but sometimes you also have to spend time with the people that you love. And this is exactly what I'm going to be doing here, right now. That being said, if you have found value in this video, I want to encourage you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click on the like button. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.